and welcome to this video. Now in this video we're going to look at an aspect of Excel functions. We're talking about the Excel conditionals. Now in an earlier video we had considered a few of them, but here we're going to look at the OR, and the NOT, and then we'll look at the SUMIF, the COUNTIF, and there's one of the if conditions that we did not consider then. I want to take a look at it, which is an IFNA. So let's start with the OR and the AND functions. So I'm gonna head to create this table. In this table here we have names of students and then their scores for each session in a school. So let's put some random numbers here. These random numbers is actually this formula I used, around between, and the lowest number should be 50, the highest number should be 92, and then I just use the autofill to autofill here. So if I refresh, you see that the numbers are changing. So that's what I want. So let's go ahead and create the first part. So I want to use the OR here, and the OR, what I want the OR to do is to return a true if in one of the sessions the person has scored more than 79. So in this particular instance we are assuming that from 80 and above is an A. So I want to see how many people scored A here. So I'll just name this place scored A. Just put A at least once. Okay. So let's just put grade A. Grade A at least once. So we are going to use the OR here. So we're saying that if this is greater than 79 or this is greater than 79, it should return a true. Otherwise, it should return a false. So we start our function with the OR statement, and then all it takes are the logical conditions within it. So the first condition is if this is greater than 79, which is what we want to see, and then same thing for here if this is greater than 79. So what should it do for us? Return a true, and if it is not, to return a false. So just for one of the conditions to hold true, I need to return true. So once I press enter, see that I have true here. Now mind you, at every refresh of this, these figures will change because I used a round between, so they'll keep changing. But I did that so that you'll be able to see it work. I didn't just want static numbers here. So we have true. So I just use the autofill to drag down, and then we have, so look here, we have true if 1 is true. So 89 is greater than 79, so we have true. Here we have 59, 59, none are greater than 79, so we have false. Here we have 74, 50, none is greater than 79, so we have false. Here we have 53 and 90, 90 is greater than 79, so we have true. Here we have 61 and 79. We did not use greater than or equals to, we use greater than 79, so it has to be an 80, from 80 and above, so we have false here. So you can see that the OR function works properly. If we refresh this, pressing Ctrl R outside, you'll keep seeing it changing, and you check the conditions and see that it is working fine. So this is the OR function in action here. There are a lot of other instances that you can use it for, but this is just a basic way. So I want to show you the AND. So let's create another column that will say if you scored grade A for both sessions. So now I want to see that this person has above 79 here and above 79 here. So we'll use an AND here. So it checks whether all arguments are true and returns if true. So both arguments have to be true for it to return true here. So if this session 1 grade is above 79 and the session 2 grade is above 79, it will return true. So both conditions must hold true for it to return true. So here I use the autofill, drag down. So let me refresh. See, both conditions need to hold true, but only one holds true, so they are all false. I keep refreshing. Okay, I have it true here. Here, both at the first session and second session, Peter scored above 79 in both, so it holds true. But here it scored in one. It holds true for the one that needs just one, the OR function, but the one that needs both, which is the AND function, it holds false. Let's keep refreshing. The refresh just come outside this range and press Ctrl R, and you see it keep changing. Here we have 87 and 85 for both sessions, so it holds true for this person. So you can see the OR function and the AND function come to life. The OR function, just to give you a recap, both it checks if one of the conditions holds true and returns a true if one holds true, or it will only return a false if none of them is true. But for the AND, both of them must hold true. So if only one is true, it will return a false, just like we have here. One is true, but the other is not, so it will return a false. So both has to be true, like we have here, for it to return a true for an AND function. So now let's look at one more function, which is the NOT. Now what the NOT does is that it negates a condition. So if something is true. So now let's look at another function that is important here. We have the NOT function. Now what the NOT function does is that if a condition holds true, if the total output of a condition holds true, it negates it. So if something is true, it takes it to false. If something is false, it changes it to true. So let me just say I want to do this. Let me just put the NOT function here, and I want to change whatever is here to the opposite. So if I do that, I click enter, you see that it holds true. If I should just do the range, there are about 5 there. There you see what we have. So you see here is true, but here is false. Here is false, but here is true. So wherever you have true, you will have false there. The same thing applies here. So what this function is doing here basically is saying that if each of this person, for each session, this person scores above 79, it scores above 79, any of them, whatever it returns, it should give me the opposite. So it should negate it. So if it returns true, it should give me false. So instead of writing all that afresh, I just referenced the function. Okay, and if we do the same thing for the AND, you will see that we have the same thing. So if I just drag this here and then I just use the autofill down, you see that whatever we have here, we have the opposite here. So everything here is false, so we have the opposite. Let me refresh, and you see refresh. Okay, so you see we have true true here, but the opposite is false false. Here we have the true true true, here we have false false false. So we have seen how to use the OR, the AND, and the NOT functions. The OR returns a true if one condition is true at least. The AND, all conditions must be true, and then the NOT negates true to false and false to true. Next, we're going to look at two conditionals in Excel. So we have the SUMIF and the COUNTIF. There are a couple of others, but we're going to look at those two. Now, what they both do, the SUMIF will sum a range if a condition is met. COUNTIF will count a range if a condition is met. And we're also going to look at the IFNA, which I said I was going to talk about. And the if error, we have also looked at that in an earlier video, so we would not revisit it in depth, but I'm going to show an example of it again just to refresh. So let's look at a fresh table that we'll use for these examples. So this table we have here is a table containing all the states in Nigeria with their land area in kilometers square, the population, and the density for each state. So, and this population is based on 2006 census, so it's not accurate. So this is not a true figure of what, a true picture of what the population is, but we're just going to use it for this example that we have. So what we want to do here is we want to illustrate a few of these other conditionals. So if we look at this, we see that we have the populations. We're going to be working with the population mainly. We have population ranging from we have 1 million, below 2 million, and we have as high as 9 million. Kano, where we have 9 million, 9.4 million as at that time. So I can only imagine where it is now. But what I want to do now to illustrate the SUMIF, I want to compute the total number of states that have their population to be above 5 million. So I want to see how many states in Nigeria have their population to be above 5 million. So to do that, let me just put above 5M pop. Okay, so let's type the formula now. So we do a COUNTIF, and then the COUNTIF, we are going to look at this range here. We want to check if any state that has population above 5 million, we want to count them. So we want to see how many. So once I select that range, I put my condition above 5 million here, and then close that bracket. And when I press enter, see I have 6. So that means there are 6 states with population above 5 million. Now let's verify this here using the number filters. I want to see greater than 5 million. So that should leave me with 6 states. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Count. We have 6 states, and that's what our COUNTIF gave us. So that means this is correct. So if I want to look at the ones that are below 5 million or below, let me not say 5 million, let me say below 2 million. So any sparsely populated places below 2 million changes to below 2 million. So to do that, the same COUNTIF, I drag that down, but let me just edit the condition. So instead of above, on C below, so below 2 million. So any place with population of 2 million, below 2 million, to count it. So we have just 3 places. So let's check that if it's correct. Number filters, and I come to less than, and I just put 2 million there. And what do we have? We have 3. And what did our thing give us? It gave us 3. So that means we are correct there. So that's how the COUNTIF works. The SUMIF works in similar ways. Instead of doing the count, it does the sum. So to illustrate the SUMIF, I'm just going to create a formula here to give me the total population for states above 5 million. So any state that is above 5 million, you should just get that and sum it for me. So this same condition that I had here, but instead you should give me a sum, not the count. So I will just copy this formula instead of writing it again. So I'll just copy that formula and come and place come here. Go back up. And let me rearrange this back. Change to 5 million. Sorry about that. And now 5 million. So we had our 6 there. So copy this. Then I come here then I paste it. But now what do I want to do? I want to see a SUMIF. So instead of a COUNTIF, I'm going to do a SUMIF. So I'll just change that count to sum. And we are good. Above 5 million. And what do I have here? I have, let me format this correctly so that we can see the figures well. So I have 41 million. So that means for these 6 states that we have above 6 million people, above 5 million people, the total population for all of them combined is 41 million. And let's see what's the percentage of the whole population compared to that. Let me get the total here. I can just use an auto sum here. Click on auto sum, it fills that up for me. So I can just come to this place and see what percentage should be this divided by this here, this, and I have an enter. If I come there, I'll change this to percentage. So the total population for all those 6 states is 41,209,590, and then that is a total of 21.9% of the total population for that year. So for that year, so we see that the total population, 29% of the total population is occupied by states that have over 5 million. So out of 36 states, just 6 states carry 29% of the total population that we have. So that's something to note. So that's how the SUMIF works. It sums based on a condition. The count counts if a condition is met also. And that's that about the 2 of them. So next we're going to look at a few other ones. We have looked at the OR, the AND, and the NOT. We have seen the SUMIF, we have seen the COUNTIF now. So let us look at some special cases for the if. So let's look at an if any. So before we look at the if any, let me just illustrate the if error again. The if error, what it does is that it returns something else for you. If an error, if the evaluation of that expression returns an error. So if I put if error here, and then what expression do I need? I want it to multiply this and this, and then if it is not true, I will say recheck your inputs. Check your inputs, and then okay, so 2 times 3 is 6, so you have 6 here. But if I have an alphabet here, you see that instead of returning an error, it returns this figure which tells me check your input. So that's what the if error does. But there's another one which is the if any. If any return a value if the evaluation returns, instead of an error, it returns NA. So let's look at an example of that. So to explain the if any, I'm going to use this example to explain 2 things actually, combining functions and then the if any. So what I want to do is that I want to check here, which is the list of the column that contains the state names, and then I want it to, just like we do in our VLOOKUPs, I want it to return the population for me. But now what happens if the state that is imputed here is not among these states? What will it do? Of course, it's going to return any value. So I want it to return something else apart from, instead of an any value there. So let's just first define the VLOOKUP for me. So let's just see the VLOOKUP. So I want to look up what value do I want to look up, whatever I put in here. If I'm not putting anything in there yet, and I want to look at this table, an array here. So I select this, and then the column index number, that is the index number of the column that I want to return the value for. So I want to return the value for this. So we have 1, 2, 3. So put 3 there as the index number of the column, and then what's next? I want it to give me either an absolute or an approximate or an exact match. So I'm going to put false, so that gives me an exact match, and then I click on enter. So look now, I didn't put anything here. I have any. If I put Abia, see, it returns to, let me format this so that we can have, it returns this. If I put Delta, it returns 41, and verify that Delta, got Delta here, 411, 412, 405, which is what we have here. But now if I put something that is not in this list, say Canada or let me say California, see what I have here, any. So now the if any is going to deal with this. Instead of returning the any error, is going to return some string or something else depending on what you define. Just like we check your input here, it's going to return something. So let's do that. To do that, we're going to wrap this our if function in the if any. So I put an if any, and then if it evaluates this and it returns whatever function is supposed to return, that's true. But if it's supposed to return an any, what should we drop? Instead of an any, we want it to return let's say must be a state in Nigeria. So if we do that, close our brackets, and let's see now. See now, instead of any value here, we're saying must be state in Nigeria. If I put New York must be a state in Texas. But if I put Yobe, so it gives me 232 3329, and if we check Yobe, we have it 232 2321 339. That's what we have here. So that is how the if any works. It helps you to evaluate. It turns on a custom that text or custom expression or some message if your initial evaluation returns an any value, and it's mostly used in this context, just like we have in lookup, where your lookup, you're not having a value coming out of that lookup. It helps you to take care of those any values that you might have. So I hope with this video you have been able to get a little bit of an understanding on what the or, the and, the not to do, and how to work with some of these conditional, like we did the SUMIF and the COUNTIF. And then we also looked at the IFERROR again, although we have done it before, and then we looked at our IFNA. I'll see you in the next video.